The Supreme Court has been formally asked to overturn Obergefell, which was the 2015 Supreme Court case that required all states to perform and recognize gay marriages. If you are lucky enough to be too young to remember the Kim Davis case, it is her case that is now before the Supreme Court being asked to be considered. Kim Davis, whose face is blacked out here, but you get the picture, was a Kentucky clerk of the court who refused to issue marriage certificates after the Obergefell case was decided. She was sued by people in her community and she lost. She's been fighting that fight ever since. And it has now reached a request to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court can decide to hear the case or not. It takes 4 justices to agree to hear a case when the request is made of the Supreme Court. They will certainly get Clarence Thomas, Alito, probably Amy Carrot Bongo. Who knows about the 4th? If Obergefell is overturned by the Supreme Court, states will no longer be required to issue marriage certificates to gay couples who are getting married. However, because of a federal law passed during the Biden administration, the Respect for Marriage Act in 2022, they will still have to recognize marriages performed in other states. The Respect for Marriage Act also requires states to recognize the validity of interracial marriages, which in my opinion is what the conservatives are actually after. The Respect for Marriage Act was introduced into Congress during the Biden administration explicitly because when the Supreme Court overturned Dobbs, Clarence Thomas said, we should look at Obergefell next. So if the Supreme Court agrees to hear the case, and if the Supreme Court decides when they hear the case to overturn Obergefell, each state will then be able to decide if they want to issue marriage certificates to gay couples or not. However, they will have no power over whether or not they have to recognize existing certificates. So if you live in, Massachusetts, you would not be able to fly to Texas to get married, for example. But if you live in Massachusetts and you got married, when you went to Texas, you would still be recognized as married legally. So in this situation, we would be getting back to exactly what we have with abortion now, where people have to leave certain states and go to other states when they are in need of healthcare. If you're looking to get married, you would probably have to leave some red states to go to blue states to get married. Obergefell has been a long target of the conservative movement, and conservatives are much better at long game planning to overturn rights than liberals are at long game planning to ensure them. I just want to say, truly, you can tell that she does not have any gay friends, even just from this part of her face and the Timu Duggar bouffant. Bigots are always so deeply ugly.